Another early ass morning. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody. I think I'm gonna keep doing these videos for a minute, just to keep myself busy. Got a lot of shit swimming around the back of my brain. I was working yesterday helping a plumbing friend, and I've been hitting the gym pretty regularly, and there was too much concrete, 80-pound bags of concrete downstairs, about 8 more than we needed. And down in the basement. And so toward the end of the job, because plumbing always somehow involves concrete work. I had no idea about that. I started carrying these 80-pound bags up these stairs, and it kicked my ass. And I've been thinking about this all night. I've got a couple of metaphors for that, I think. First of all, I've been keeping my gym strength, but I lost my fuck you strength. And I think carrying 80-pound bags of concrete upstairs and out of the house helps build that fuck you strength. So I'm happy to start working on getting that bag. In fact, I told the other guys, it kicked my ass so bad, I told the other guys not to grab any. I wanted to grab the rest of them. I have to admit I pussed out toward the end and asked my bro to grab a bag of concrete. I think he carried the second to last one up. So I did puss out. But I started thinking, all right, so I'm carrying these 80-pound bags of concrete up these stairs. It was a burden. And I throw them on my shoulder. And, I had to decide in the middle of the night that a lot of times we carry burdens and we run from that. But I think as men especially, I think we need to maybe dig into that. Get more comfortable carrying those burdens so that when they come up, we've got that fuck you strength to have to ride through that. So I thought about that for some stupid reason all night while I was crouching my ass to take a piss. And which brings me on to the next damn thing, alright? We rarely ask each other how we're doing. Like, I've never been asked, are you okay? Like, how you doing? Are you okay? And I realized that when I lost my leg, people are really good at opening the door for you, which seems kind of condescending. Moving furniture around. But nobody ever asked me how I was doing. And I wasn't doing well at the time, but we're gonna skip past all that. We ain't gonna talk about that. And so yesterday, Troy, my bro, who sometimes I work with, I'm sitting there bullshitting. I got a little anxiety. I've had some anxiety lately. And so when I have anxiety, I say dumb things. I joke around. So I'm sitting there just saying some stupid ass shit. And he stops. He looks at me dead, and it just went dead silent. He said, how are you doing? Are you okay? Because he knows I'm going through some shit. And so I have spoke on this so many times during videos and during my podcast about how men don't really hold each other down in an emotional sense. And it made me uncomfortable when he asked me that. So I skipped past that. So I'm sitting here thinking, all right, so I'm on these videos and I'm trying to show men it's okay to be vulnerable, because I truly think that strength comes through being vulnerable. It's a hard thing to do. Strength comes from being vulnerable. And in person, the first motherfucker who asked me, hey, and he asked it seriously, he looked me dead in my eyes, he said, you doing okay? And it made me fucking uncomfortable. So that's been wrapping around my head all night, because I skipped by that. I got uncomfortable with him asking me if I'm uncomfortable. So then that begs the question, am I part of that problem too? Right? Am I part of that? It's, I throw these videos out here on the internet, and I throw them out here on Facebook, and I try to help people out because it kind of helps me out. And so I started thinking, am I kind of part of that problem? Because it wasn't comfortable. And I don't know if I've ever asked anybody, any man, if they were okay. I don't think I've ever sat anyone down who was going through a hard time, or carrying maybe some extra burdens, like I talked about earlier, and asked them if they were okay. So I think maybe that's something I need to look at in myself and become a little more comfortable with that in person, and maybe even lead with that, right, in person. Because these videos are one thing, and I appreciate everyone who watches these videos. But yeah, I think I need to start being more comfortable, maybe being vulnerable in person. And maybe kind of add that on, show it's okay. And being comfortable putting other men in a spot where they're comfortable being vulnerable in person. So yeah, all that shit was on my brain all night. I wake up several times a night lately, and that was heavy on my brain. I thought about that, and then I thought about there's a portion of your brain called anterior mid singular cortex, I believe. Don't quote me exactly. Google it. The Google AI will tell you better than I will. But I think it's the anterior mid singular cortex, which actually grows when you do hard things, and that's hard things you don't necessarily want to do. So if you're just used to doing hard things, motivation comes and goes, but discipline, if you have the discipline to keep doing that hard thing, I think that's a good thing for us. That portion of the brain is extremely large in professional athletes. So I think if we can get more comfortable maybe doing the hard thing, and maybe as men, the hard thing is showing our vulnerability in person and being more comfortable having to carry those burdens, even if we put ourselves, obviously, because sometimes we are our own worst enemy, obviously put ourselves in a position to where we have to carry those burdens. So that's what I had on my mind this morning. Want to throw that out there. Like I said, I'm going to do these probably. I keep my mind busy right now. I'm going to go down to Prospect Lake. Here I ain't got no work today, so I'm going to go down to Prospect Lake here in a minute. Maybe a couple hours, mid-morning, something like that. Get a workout in. They got pull-up bar down there. So I think I'm going to go down there and maybe catch some sun. It looks like a beautiful day, 58 degrees outside. And get some pull-ups in. If anyone wants to come on down by the lake and get a workout and get a sweat in, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And again, if you're going through anything this holiday season, It's okay to reach out. It's okay to reach out to somebody and talk about that. I think as men, when we bottle things up, which I have a bad habit of, I've been isolating myself lately. I think as men, when we bottle things up, we turn them inward. And turning that kind of thing inward isn't healthy for us. It ends up coming out in healthy ways. And another thing, I don't think we have a tendency to look for band-aids. And I know this video is all over the place. It's my mind's all over the place more. We have a tendency to look for band-aids. That's video games, porn. Porn is a big deal. It's a good band-aid. Alcohol, substances. But the problem is when we turn toward those to mask our emotions because we're not comfortable with what we're going through, we don't learn to deal with those emotions in a healthy way. So I want to throw that out there too. If you're going through anything, try not to mask those emotions through substances, through alcohol, through porn, through video games. Even, sometimes sometimes I catch myself doing it. I'll just have some music in the background or a podcast playing in the background. And I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm not comfortable sitting in my mud, and I'm distracting myself. And I think that if we learn to not do something like that, I think we become healthier men. And I heard the saying, when men struggle, women are affected the most. So I thought I'd leave this video with that message, because I think that's very, very true. No matter what side of the feminism aisle you're sitting on, I think that rings true no matter what. So y'all have a good day. I'm going to be down at Prospect Lake doing pull-ups this morning. Probably a couple hours. It's dark as shit outside still. So a couple hours I'll be down there doing some pull-ups. I don't necessarily feel like doing that, but I'm going to keep myself busy. Y'all have a good day. Happy Christmas Eve. And again, if you're going through something or if you're going through anything, try not to run from those emotions. Try to sit with them and understand what you're feeling, understand the grief or whatever you're going through, understand what that is and feel that, because I think that is the quickest way through that. Y'all have a good day.